I'd like to welcome Fitz Koehler to MRuns podcast. This is our second time. Last time Fitz with Rudy. It's been a while. We haven't talked. Fitz is a sports fanatics, athlete, author, race announcer. On top of that, he's a breast cancer survivor. I think that's a correct statement because I just listened to your book. Fitz, welcome to MRuns podcast. Thanks for joining. Let's talk about what's in your calendar. Let's start from there because you travel a lot for race announcements.
I do. I do. So I think I have about 30 events on my calendar this year, and I'm excited about each one because, they all bring me to people like you, and that's my favorite thing is connecting with runners. And actually I host professional pickleball tournaments too. So this coming week I'll be in Tampa for the Publix Gasparilla Distance Classic, which is a monster. If anybody is out there and you like to run races, this is one of the iconic American race weekends. Just so much fun, and the pirate costumes. It's just fun. It's beyond. And Meb Kefletsky's there with me, and it's just a blast. So Gasparilla's next, and then I have a little bit of a break. I will be announcing probably about 18 different Mud Girl events around
Mm.
America this year. So that's 5K obstacle races geared towards women. It's just so much fun. That's one of those days where I dance from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. with thousands and thousands of people, and it's just fun, fun, fun. I've got the OC Marathon in California, which is that's a biggie, and it keeps getting bigger, and it's a world class event with a full and a half and a 5K and kids races, and just phenomenal. What else? I mean, golly, Rocket City will probably be on my calendar again. I just finished with the Donna National Marathon to finish breast cancer. I could go on, but I'm a very happy camper when I am wrapped around runners.
Definitely. One thing I wanted to, since you brought up the 30 events, I think I don't cover as much. I go to that many events. I ran like 15 marathons, ultra marathons last year. So, and then
It's a lot.
I cover events as well, like, take photos
Okay.
and then also shorter races, which I don't even count those. I'm not as much, but how, I mean, for you, is like, you got to keep that energy going, correct? Let's start from there. How do you keep your energy? I mean, you're always very energetic. I've seen you from the morning till night, whenever time, when I start the race till the finish the race. I mean, if you watch the video on just now, I posted about we dancing at the at the finish line of Huntsville, the Rocket City Marathon. So how do you keep your energy going all day
Yeah.
long?
You guys, runners, you guys are like crack cocaine to me. I'm addicted to you. I'm obsessed. And I just have an on switch because I'm legitimately excited to be where I am. I love being with you. I mean, even when I was deathly ill from chemo, the second I stepped on my stages, just it was miraculous. I wasn't
Mm.
sick anymore. I wasn't suffering. I wasn't tired. I was just ready to go and do this thing. You are the thing that makes me feel most like me, right? So I'm naturally joyful, and I don't know, I just when I'm with you, it feels like the best version of me. And so if you gave me 100 hours of finish line and start line, I would have enough energy for 100 hours and millions of people. It's I just love it. It's not manufactured at all. It's real. It's just you are so good that that's how I stay energized because I'm excited. I'm honestly excited to see everybody and be with everybody.
Definitely, I can relate that to you because when I pace a marathon, going to the streets, not only the spectator, my runners, and they excite me, and I have the music going. I carry a little portable music,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm dancing, and then I have those moments. One thing somebody was asking me, I think it was last year's Rocket City Marathon, and one guy's like asking me like, "Hey, um, when you go on like this for like 4 hours, 3, 4, 5 hours." Do you have off? Once you finish, do you turn off? I said, pretty much. And
Yeah.
I hardly don't even talk to anybody for a while. I just sit in the corner. I just maybe drink beer or just somebody will come talk to me. And that's fine. But mostly I'm off after that. How does that work for you?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm still on a high for a while. It takes me quite a bit to calm down. It's funny. I work with Rudy Novotny, who's my favorite race announcer on planet Earth, and he shuts down. He goes, "Okay, I'm tired enough." He's going to go to his room. He's going to go to sleep, and I'm still
Yes.
riding high of the memories and the emotions and so forth. So, we all have our own little ways to doing it. But eventually, when I do come down. I want to shut up. That's the thing is, my voice is taxed. I think, okay, nobody should have to listen to this anymore because it's scratchy and it just feels nice to shut up.
Yeah, for me, it's like, just as my body's like, it's enough now. It
Yeah.
just lets us. And then one other thing I do it. It's very, very, not that often. Uh, Back to back races. I cannot do like for you do like all the weekends. It's a little different. For me, it's like if I go like really on one weekend, I really want to off a couple of weekends. Like
Yeah.
this year, I was in Disney, and then next weekend I was at down in Houston. So Disney to Houston is like a little hard for me to just kind of crank that back up.
Yeah.
But
There's a huge difference between running these races and just running at the mouth. And um, I can pull out race announcing in any circumstances, right? That's a blessing. But I'm not running. I am vigorous while I'm announcing. I'm down running through the chute and finding people and dancing with friends like you. But there is no comparison between running a marathon and announcing a marathon. I ran only one marathon, and I assure you, when I was done, I was ready to go sit down and just turn off. I wouldn't have wanted to have to do it again the next weekend.
yeah, I go on, and one time I did 3 weekends, 3 races, two continents, three countries, and so on. So it's just
Incredible.
it's like, those things you do in life is it, like you said, it becomes a memory. This,
Right.
you lock that in the memory, and then you just keep talking about it. But definitely, it's pretty interesting things you and we do. A little different. You're at the finish line. I'm coming to you. We'll start to finish.
Yeah.
So when you travel, what are the difficult part for you? Traveling for racing is a little different for me because I have to make sure that I have everything. Shoes and clothes, and make sure that sometimes I just freak out because I'm traveling so far. What happens if I forgot my shoes? I look at my shoes a couple of times. What are the things that logistically? Let's talk about that a little for you because you travel quite a bit. So.
Yeah, I do. So my flight's I always fly out of Gainesville, Florida. That's my hometown airport. It's 15 minutes from the house, but I fly out on the first flight of the day almost every time because if you fly later, then you suffer the consequences of cumulative flight delays. Maybe a flight delay 3 hours prior to yours screws up your flight. So I always fly out at 6, which is early. That's a real commitment way to start a race weekend at 4 a.m. And I'm an overpacker naturally, so I have to work hard to condense. Usually, I mean, for running clothes, fine, it's tights and a base layer shirt and a jacket. But then if I'm hosting a VIP party, I got to deal with all that stuff. I always take my laptop to do the other type of work I do. I write books on the plane. Got to have my iPad for music, my cowbell, um, my notebook. There's some race announcer tools, and I too don't want to forget anything. And I always hope my luggage makes it, man. On occasion, my luggage gets lost in space, and now I put air tags in my luggage. But yeah, so I fly out early, and I work very hard to manage my sleep. I really need sleep. I'm one of those girls. I
Mm-hmm.
love waking up, but in the morning I already think, "Whoo, I can't wait to go to bed." So, so and I cannot sleep on a plane no matter what. I've tried, it doesn't work for me. So, I'll get where I'm going and try to at least close my eyes for 30 minutes in my hotel. And yeah, I'm the queen of Ubering or rental cars or whatever has to be done. And on a rare occasion, if I leave a race and go straight to the airport, it's always very interesting what I'm wearing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if I'm at Mud Girl, for example, I might have a tutu on or something. I've walked through several airports in tutus, just desperately trying to like, okay, I just need to get to the bathroom and then I can put on some real clothes here. But I've made a few scenes in airports with ridiculous outfits. But and then the other thing I look for is airport showers. So the Delta Sky Club. Oh, why? Instagram just gave me thumbs down. We want to give it a thumbs up, but some of the Sky Clubs have showers in them. And so I've
So,
become a big fan of those.
so what does that thumbs down mean?
I don't know. You know what? The internet is paying attention to what we're saying, and sometimes it just it gives us emotions, which is weird, but
That's
entertaining.
interesting. Hopefully, they won't shut us
Yeah,
down. We're not saying that.
right,
but
right.
but definitely, when we travel through, it's very interesting. I'm trying to be as light as possible. I think I was too light when I went to Miami, so I was looking for my
Oh,
clothes. Like then you go to races, like you said earlier, pre interview, we talked about how many swag you can get in an event. I go to an
yeah,
event, I get like several swag. So definitely, yeah. For me, is also whenever I travel, I very short trips. Early mornings. When I go to the city, I haven't done really Uber, or I'm mostly like a local buses.
oh, wow.
I do like a transportation because I'm like you. I'm in a one hop city. That's what I call it. And in Birmingham is one hop to around the world. It doesn't matter where I go. One hop. I call it one hop city. So once we're on a hop, I'm in Europe, London, whatever, Rome. But then again, I have to be very very careful how much I pack, how much I take. I
Yeah,
never check in my bags. I don't trust it because I think I remember I one time it was maybe 2019 when I was going to Berlin or whichever year it was, and I was transiting in Paris, and I did not make them my flight. The flight was shutting it down. They were just and my I did not check my bag. They were wanted me to check my bag at the early. So anyway, so I never check my bag. It's scared that if I go 10 days in Europe, I don't have my bag, and all I have is a roller and a backpack. So it's interesting. So definitely. So have you done international announcing, or are you just in America only?
no, I've spoken abroad plenty, but I haven't announced any races yet. However, one of my races has recently asked me if I'd be interested in coming to announce in Canada and France this year. So that'd be
That'd
cool. It's
be
just
cool. That's a
as
little
long as
different.
as long as they tolerate English, because that's really the only language I bring to the table. But yeah, yeah, and here's the thing. I'd be happy to go announce abroad. I freaking love America so much. So if 99.999% of my efforts are right here in the 50 states, then fine by me. But
Yeah.
announcing elsewhere would be cool too.
Yeah, definitely. I love to. I've traveled, and the running has helped me to travel around the world. So definitely, it's been a good adventure for me. Let's kind of switch around a little bit. You do a lot of you're athlete yourself. What kind of do you do? You say you have done only marathon. What distance do you run? Uh,
Well, I've
you
run them.
ran.
Yeah, I've
Go ahead.
run them all up to the full. So, and Boston Marathon was my only marathon I've ever run, but I've
Got
done
you.
plenty of halves and plenty of 10s and 5Ks. I really like the 10K distance.
Mm,
I think it's enough to be a great workout. It's never too much, I never leave a 10K thinking, "Bleh, I need to sit down for a couple of hours." And I'm never too sore. What I really love is doing obstacle course races. So that is my favorite as a participant. I just love the entertainment and the engagement and the various challenges that come along with the obstacle course, whether it's Savage or Spartan or Mud Girl. There's so many giggles that come along with these obstacle course races. I mean, one of my favorite Florida races, we just had torrential storms. It was in Jacksonville, and the trail was flooded up to our hips.
mm,
And so we're running through a trail. You can't see what's under your feet, and you're constantly falling face down. There's twigs you think are snakes, and you're looking for alligators. I mean, it was fun, and people might be like, "Oh, that doesn't sound like fun, Fitz Koehler," but I do like to mix it up. So I would say any obstacle course distance is my favorite.
got you. I've never done obstacle
You
course.
would love it.
Never done a mud run. I think I may have passed that. Growing up in Nepal,
Cool.
I lived through. That's how we grew up. And some of my best trail race has been when it's a torrential rain, mud and stuff. But still, I don't know.
People think obstacle course race so scary, so intimidating, but just like our road races, there's people of all fitness levels, all ages. And what I find more with the OCRs is that people do a lot of
Mm.
walking. And so, with a marathon, for example, like trying to run as much as you can, run. An obstacle course, we have some people are running, but then I'd say over 50% of the people think, screw it, I'm just going to walk to the next obstacle. And then, depending on which race brand you're choosing, Spartan, for example, or actually I'll say Savage, really heavy with the upper body strength. So I show up to Savage and I fail a lot because I can't do so much of the upper body hanging exercises, but I'm okay with the fail. I give it a try and I drop, or I drop in cold water or something, and so be it. Some of the races say, if you don't if you can't complete the challenge, then do 20 burpees. I am not going to do burpees. Just put it that way. There's no, I mean, I do them for exercise, but I'm not going to go to a race and do burpee punishment. So if I fail, so be it. I go on to the next race. And then, so Savage is the hardest, and then Spartan. And then there's some that are less, you're doing less hanging, less pulling, and more lower body interesting engagements, or just you're down in a ditch and there's all these people helping you get out there. Oh, Tough Mudder. Tough
Tough
Mudder
Mudder.
is for funsies. Everything, almost everything requires partnership and other people to help each other. So yeah, you got to give it a go. You would laugh so much, and then you'd probably become addicted to that too.
I'm up to trail running, I do 100 miles and so on, but that sounds like, somewhere in that area for, you know, running a trail. Like you said, we're not always going. We
Yeah.
walk, we drink, we take a nap and so on. So it's a little different. So definitely. So that's very interesting. Tough, the obstacle course, this kind of things is I've never been part of it. So,
So fun.
so yeah,
So
so
fun.
I need to look into that definitely. Let's switch some topic. I listened to your book. I think that's your first book. You have several books now. You went through the whole cancer, so breast cancers, and I want to talk just a little bit if you're okay with that.
Of course.
The whole journey. We don't want to talk. There's a book out there, so if a listener wanted to find a
Yeah.
book, if you
Yeah.
have
That
it,
that
go
was
ahead.
called My Noisy Cancer Comeback, Running at the Mouth While Running for My Life. That was the first of the
That's it.
series.
Yeah, that's the one I listened just now, and you went through a lot of struggle, and I did not know the detail of all this thing happens, and then at the top of that, you're traveling and all this thing. So let's talk about a little. So are you completely recovered? Do you recover from cancer?
Yeah, so I'm over 4 years out of treatment and I'm 5 years in remission. I just had an appointment with my oncologist to follow up today, and they said I look great, and yeah, I'm cancer free, and it's in the rearview mirror. I'm very grateful for that.
Definitely something I was actually talking to dinner last night. I have two girls and my wife who were saying, hey, I'll be talking to you tomorrow, and how you talk about how you were okay, in December, and then you I think it was February, you discover a
Yeah.
lump and so on. So how those treatments, if you miss those periods, and you talked about that in that book, what happens, people don't notice, people always, we're not looking at, correct, we are depending on our doctors to tell us during our visit, so we're not always checking this thing, so let's
Right. So people do need to be diligent all the time, like all the time. You just always have to keep an eye on your skin and your vision and how you feel. And of course, something is like breast cancer, you just got to keep squeezing your stuff. So I had clean mammogram, crystal clear. And then 6 weeks later, found a lump and it already spread to my lymph nodes. It was a wild case. But yeah, we just have to be our own best advocate, and doctors aren't going to come to your house and creep in your bedroom at night with a flashlight and start looking around. And so you have to be incredibly aware of what's going on with your body, and then you can't put your head in the sand. If you see something weird, you got to say something, you got to report it and explore the issue. Maybe it's no big deal, right? But if it is a big deal, like me, if I had not found my lump, or let's say I found it and ignored it, I'd be dead. I'd be dead. You'd be talking about me instead of to me, because this thing was moving so quickly through me. I mean, golly, if I had waited to the following mammogram, I wouldn't have even made it, because the cancer would have spread to my lungs or my brain, and I would have started having side effects of cancer in my brain. I would have started having headaches, and walking into walls, and people would have said, "What's wrong with Fitz? Let's go get her checked out." And then they would have
Mm.
found this breast cancer in my brain. So, anyways, early detection saved my life, and I want everybody to take their health very seriously and don't fear a diagnosis. Fear not catching a diagnosis early enough.
Got you. Okay, that's a great advice. Let's talk about the spread. You kind of experienced that. How quickly is it like wildfire spreads faster? I was thinking like for a cancer, I was thinking this the slow progress. The way I would listen, it was really, and what you just said is it's going really fast. It's a rapid multiplying really fast.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different, right? So some cancers
Mm,
are very slow moving. Mine was not. Mine was warp speed, and it was terrifying. And as I was told after the fact, my doctors were panicked over me. It's interesting. The doctors that was referred to, they're the A team, right? They're the best of the best. I was told they were all like I want to use the word sold out. They're booked, right? Not accepting new patients. And I got in with each of them instantly. And the reason being is because people were seeing my charts and going, holy hell, she needs to be treated quickly. So there's a test that will tell you if you're likely to have a recurrence. Now, if I can get that test, that will affect the choices I make on I take a pill every day, right? So which pill will I take, or can I stop? But there's a good chance the insurance won't even let me have the test because my cancer was so aggressive. They would just think, well, of course she's likely to have a recurrence. So, it mine was aggressive. Not everybody's is. But yeah, if you've got something quick like mine, you don't have a lot of time to screw around. You need to figure it out and go running for help as quickly as possible.
definitely. In your book, you talk about during those time you went through not only going to chemo as at the same time you're traveling, and I hear so much pain and so much pain, and at the same time, wow, she's been tough. And tell us about, just kind of walk us through one or two scenario where you really have to go through your chemo and then you still have to go announce you don't want to didn't want to do it. Most people would probably wouldn't have done do it, they would stay home.
Yeah.
You decided to do different. Tell us how much that helped you to recover quicker than you think.
So not doing the thing that I love was never an option, right? So
Hmm.
people were like, "You're gonna stay home. You can't fly." And I said, "Ah, screw you, coward. I'm going." I've worked too hard for the position that I have. The stages that I stand on are coveted. There's, you know, thousands of people that would like to do the thing that I do in those spaces, and I earned my spot on the stage at OC Marathon and all the other races, right? And I knew the cancer was going to take my hair. It was going to take some of my good feelings. It was not going to take my career. I just was defiant over that. And that meant just getting on the planes. And people say, "How are you going to do it?" And I just say, "I just am." I had ultimate faith in my ability to figure it out. I built a career on figuring things out. And so it was hard. I think it was OC Marathon. I just had the Big Sur Marathon previously, which is a very big race weekend, demanding. And then I flew home on the red eye flight. And Monday morning, I had chemo. So
Mm.
I left Big Sur Sunday. I had chemo Monday morning, and my infusions at that point were 9 hours long. They were giving me four different super nasty drugs, and I was falling apart at that time. I mean, my fingernails were ripping off. My eyes had just changed colors. My vision was becoming blurry, and I was violently ill. I mean, I was so sick all the time. And so, and the way chemo works is you get treatment Monday, and that feels really bad. Plus, they give you Benadryl. So Monday's not great. Tuesday, you're kind of mousy. Wednesday, kind of mousy. Thursday is the day I would explode. So it
Mm.
was the third day. And so Monday, chemo after red eye, after announcing a marathon, which would probably toast most people. So then I get chemo and I've got a couple of days to rest. Thursday, things start hitting the fan and I'm violently ill again. And then Friday morning at 6 a.m., I'm on a flight to Orange County, California. And I remember that flight being really tricky. I mean, imagine having a stomach bug or food poisoning and being in the
Mm.
air. And so interesting. And I didn't wear a wig, so people were nice to me. I never wore a pink ribbon or any of those I've got cancer shirts. I just didn't do it, but people knew, so they were kind, and that always helped. But I remember Rudy picking me up at the airport, and I just I just couldn't even talk to him. It was like, "How are you?" And I just like collapsed with my head on his armrest. And he took me directly to IV fluids. So Gary Kutcher, our race director, I'd asked him, I said, could you help me get IV fluids? Because I was so sick, I was always dehydrated. And that was one of my secrets to keeping me going is every day in Gainesville or wherever I was, I'd get IV fluids. So
Mm.
he took me over and dropped me off at this hydration salon, which was weird. I mean, the fact that healthy, normal people are going in for IVs just for for the hell of it when they could drink a glass of OJ or whatever was fascinating. But um, yeah, I got IV fluids. Then I think I went and I did the OC VIP party, straight to bed, and then the next day was kids races for hours on end, and then a 5K that night. And I did go get IV fluids in between the kids races and the 5K in the evening, and then Sunday was marathon and half marathon. And I mean, my situation was bad, but the miracle of loving what you do so much is I would step on those stages and everything that was wrong with me would disappear. And I get to be full force Fitz Koehler, just having the time of my life for as long as I had an athlete on the course. And then I remember when our final finisher came through that Sunday, and I mean, it's a long day. We start at 5 a.m. and then maybe final finisher comes in at 2 p.m. This woman finishes, and then almost like a robot, I could hear my body go like that, just turn off. And it was crazy. And then I had no voice. So, the reason your hair falls out is the type of chemo I was getting killed rapidly duplicating cells, which is the type of cancer I had, was fast moving. So went after my hair, and then all the pink lining of your digestive system from your mouth on out, that's quickly duplicating cells too. So it was like my innards, my throat, my everything was going through a cheese grater. And so after OC Marathon, that really, I mean, that was it. And I had no voice at all. I couldn't have screamed for help if somebody were chasing me with a knife. And then I had to go to Arkansas the next weekend and Detroit to announce Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in two different states. Look at that; those balloons are so weird. But that was pretty chaotic. And so I remember on Monday calling or texting my oncologist saying, "Please help! I have no voice, and I'm stuck in California for a few days, and I need steroids, and I have to have a voice because I have to do this. I still have to announce next weekend." So I, I magically got my voice me when I woke up Friday morning, and I was able to work Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and it was touch and go. But I'm so grateful I did it, right? It was sticking my thumb in the eye of cancer, and more importantly, doing the thing that made me happy. I know that if I skipped out on my races, if I said, "Well, I've got cancer, I'm sick, I'm not going to go," I would have just stayed at home and cried, right? If they were doing any of these races, my races without me, I would have just cried and I would have been depressed, and that probably would have killed me. So it was worth all the effort and all the struggle, and I benefited so greatly from this running community that I truly believe contributed to saving my life.
Definitely. What a testament there. Definitely. Such a great, I feel chill here, but
Yeah.
definitely because just hearing from you, I listened to that on the audiobook, but hearing from you, it's just
Mhm.
another level. And one of those things I tell people saying, hey, why do you run so much? Why do you do this? Why is like people? I mean, I've raced 15 races plus cover races. I mean, I'm always on the road.
Incredible.
Sound like that, but that gives the energy, correct? That gives the life to us. Like you said, if you had stayed home, you would have been much worse condition than
Yeah.
being outside. I mean, outside is hard. I mean, we're not saying that it was not hard. And traveling is not easy. We already talked about that. But doing what you love to do and then be out there keeps us alive, correct? So
Yeah. And one of the reigning themes in that book is I can do hard things. And I think it's really interesting where people are so averse to pain. they're so averse to suffering. They're so averse to hardship. And I feel like the greatest generation, those World War II vets, they just sucked it up, man. They were going to do it. They were going to do whatever it took to do the thing that they wanted to do because it was the right thing to do. And they weren't going to give up because they had a headache or they had cramps or whatever. Um, I don't love the wussy generation. I just, it's fine if I have some pain. In fact, I'm not going to mask pain with Percocet ever. If I've got pain, okay, I'll yield to it. I'll not walk on that swollen ankle or whatever. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay to suffer a little bit for a good cause. And I did. And, I hope I don't have to repeat it again. But if faced with similar or different hardships, I would follow the same formula is keep doing the things I love with the people I love, and that will get me to my finish line.
Definitely. And you continued on talk about pain. Right? If you watch that video that you and me dancing at the Rocket City Marathon,
Yes.
right after the marathon, they rolled me in the wheelchair because I was just out. I mean, I was out that day. I was pain. I traveled to Nepal. I had a jet lag. I was feverish. The rain. That was the worst marathon pacing experience I had that whole weekend. And even the entire time I've been pacing is I've paced more than 50, 60 races. And it was really bad. I still helped to finish somebody to finish with me. And I mean, I did my pacer part. But I come in, I was like, oh, I just want to go lie down and sit down somewhere. Then he
Like,
said,
are we
they're
dancing?
like, let's dance. And there we are. We're just dancing. So the,
Well, you know what? Bless your heart. And here's the thing. I look at you, and my opinion of you is that you are impenetrable, that you do this all the time, that you couldn't even be in pain. Like every time you cross the finish line, you just look great. Marathons look easy. Well, you make them look easy. And so when you said you weren't feeling good, in my mind, I was like, huh? I don't even understand what he just said. He doesn't feel good, but man, you jumped into action. You're like, okay, let's dance. And so it was great. I'm sorry you had a tough day, but you finished like a boss
uh,
for sure.
definitely. I mean, since then, I talk about pain. I went through pain, and then I let somebody look at it. They say hey, it's maybe arthritis, and then I said, nah, I don't believe so. I've been treating nursing. I've run 3 marathons since then. I think some of my medals are back here.
Nice.
These are just this year's medals.
Wow.
So I'm just collecting.
Of
So
course.
so definitely, I've run those. I've been nursing, and the pain has gone away, and almost, I can relate what you have gone through. But what I'm saying is, if I would have stayed in pain, and it's like,
Yeah.
if it would have taken me, I wouldn't have got three different experiences that I had, and I wouldn't, just stay pain. So now I'm nursing, and I'm trying hard. Even today, I was like, trying, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Even for me, I have to work that hard. I've run 176 marathons and ultra marathons. Still have to work hard.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that correlates for you. Do you still have to work hard to be best at what you are? I'm sure you have announced hundreds and hundreds of races. So let's kind of switch to that part of something. Hey, you came out of this
Mhm.
thing, and now you feel like you're on top of the Mount Everest because do you still have to work hard to be on the top or on your game? How does that work for you now, post post cancer?
Yeah. And so the work itself, I think, comes natural to me.
Hmm.
Um, some people might get really uncomfortable on the microphone. If I'm on the microphone with 20,000 runners, I feel like we're all sitting at the kitchen table just having a chat, right? So the nature of the work is easy for me. But yeah, I work really hard. I show up early, I stay late, I do my research, I have notes, even the little things of popping into an expo to make sure I meet as many people as I can so I can welcome them in a personal way when they hit the start or the finish line. Yeah, I strive for excellence. And then, as you know, a lot of race announcers will sit in a chair and read names, and I'm a lot more aggressive than that. I run around the chute. I just like to connect with people, and and at Donna Marathon or Donna Race Weekend last week or 2 weeks ago, it was
2 weeks
just
ago. Mhm.
yeah, it was. I probably run a full marathon. I'm constantly chasing. My goal is to grab every breast cancer survivor, cancer crusher, whatever, grab her recognize her, celebrate her, or him, because we've got some guys too. So if you imagine 10,000 people coming at you and there's 300 wearing pink bibs, and you got to say, okay, I got to find, oh, I'm sorry, they're all wearing pink bibs. I got the dark pink bib, right? So I got to laser find that person, grab her, get her name, and find out how long she's been cancer free or what stage she is in her treatment, celebrate her specifically to the crowd. And I turn around, I'm trying to find another one. And so it's vigorous. Yeah, I work very hard, and I bust my tail for these races because I want them to be successful. I want them to have even more athletes the next year. It's interesting when people hire someone like Rudy or I, they have to invest, right? It's much like everything else. You get what you pay for, right? If you you get a local DJ or the news guy, okay, get what you get. But when we come in, we're an investment to the race, so we want to make sure they get the most incredible bang for their buck to give them such a professional experience. We want to make sure that race director doesn't ever have to think about this, right? We're never going to be a problem. In fact, we're going to solve a lot of problems for them because we operate effectively. But if we can ensure that everybody who's here today has the time of their life, like an extra experience, they've had the better time than they've ever had at a race, they're more likely to come back next year, right? And so that's kind of the investment in announcers like us is we can ensure such a holly jolly good time that those people are signing up as soon as registration opens, right? They leave and they want to come back. Or if they had a lackluster time, the start line wasn't a lot of fun, they were ignored at the finish line, even though your medals and your shirts were cool, they're going to find another race, right? So it's really important to us that people are well appreciated and our services are superior. So yeah, I still work really hard.
Definitely. The one thing for sure, I have seen you in many races. You were really involved.
Yeah.
At the Donna last year, I remember my clear memory. It was raining, pouring rain.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
still out there dancing, absolutely. So you're doing things, what Fizz will do. So things like that. So definitely, one of the things I can relate with you is like for me is I'm one of the many pacer over there, correct? So one of the
Hmm.
many pacers but for me is like I want the people who are in my group have the best experience,
Yeah.
and then I tell them story, tell them joke, dance, go crazy. Depending on how many hours I'm pacing, 4.5, 5 hours, whatever I'm pacing, make sure that they remember me afterward
Yeah.
as well, and come back like I said. And I have some friends, I've been lifelong friends from that because some of them they follow me, some of them listening probably right now, and so things I do. So definitely it builds that things we want to do to help others. Correct. That's where we are. So
Absolutely. And you know what? On race day, I may be the loudest person, but there I'm just one, right? There's the new friend you made in the back of the corral or pacers or your tour guides through the course and the volunteers and there's just so many people involved. Again, I'm the noisiest, but certainly doesn't make me any more valuable than anybody else. But I'm also hell bent on making sure that the role I play is full throttle and everybody's getting the most out of the experience I can provide, right? As part of the team.
gotcha. Yeah, exactly. We are saying here we're part of the make of the race, correct? It's
Yeah,
the
of
production.
course.
We're part of the production, so definitely. One of the thing my experience is when I first ran the first half marathon, I was like me, just as bubbly and then just doing things that one lady said, if you had so much energy, so like a half marathon, probably like 5 miles into the race, and it's like she said, if you have this much energy, you should be running full. I was like, that was my first half, and I never run that.
Oh,
That I was like, did I broke some etiquette here? So I stopped talking. I don't say anything. I still don't talk when I'm racing. I hardly.
no, go back to talking.
No, when I'm racing,
Okay,
but when I'm pacing,
okay,
you cannot stop me. So that's what I tell them.
okay.
Pacing, I'm just talking, doing my things, bringing people, make them laugh. They follow me just, with the music. I became the honeypot, the honey like hives. People just around me.
Good.
It's a little different, but when I race, I still don't talk
That's
because
funny.
first I'm racing,
Yeah.
and then top of that memory from from 2008 or 2000, yeah, 2008 still stings, but it's not that person's fault. But anyway, but that's kind of experience. Um, so this is definitely we are trying to help, and like I said, it's part of the production, being doing things what we're supposed to do and help others. So let's continue on our discussion. Let's talk about some of the things you do. I know that you have other things you do beyond your announcing. You have your very nice program you have for elementary school, some running
Hmm.
programs. Let's talk about that a little. Let's talk about that a little. It's been going around for a long time. When I talked to you last time, I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, I think I just hit about 15 years. It's called the Morning Mile, and it's a before school walking running program that's been implemented in, I think, about 400 schools worldwide right now. And it's kids and their families and the faculty are welcome to show up before school. They get about 30 minutes in the morning. There's music, there's a simple tracking system, a fun system of rewards. And yeah, the goal is to just get kids and their people up and moving and help change their life that way. Not only help them exercise and get their willies out, help them learn better, it helps them behave better. And program's been wildly successful. We have some schools, elementary schools, that put up close to 30,000 miles every year. We have individual students who are doing 5, 6, 700 miles in a school year. And then, of course, we have kids with special needs who are coming out and doing 1 lap or 2 laps a day. And that really changes the way they perform, feel, and think. And so I'm very proud of the Morning Mile. If anyone listening is interested in helping get more kids moving in the morning, visit morningmile.com. There's an opportunity for you to reach out on behalf of your favorite school to get your kids up and running, or you could sponsor the programs. They're very affordable, and you make a lasting impact on thousands of kids with that sponsorship.
So what grade they are, and this we're talking about the
Preschool through high school.
got you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all if they're kids, I want them.
definitely. I sent in the Chicago area, and I think it's like other areas. So they have like a running the student group of running student.
Yeah.
There, they're marathoners, but yours is just a mile, correct? So
Well, it's not just a mile. It's called the Morning Mile, but it's not. There's other programs that say, okay, we're going to train for a 5K, or we're going to train for speed, or only girls, like, right? Only 12 girls. And I'm a fitness expert, and my goal is mass impact to change the way people live and perform forever. Excuse me. So, everybody's welcome every day. There's no fee to the student, there's no fee to the school. Sponsors pay those things, and we provide 30 minutes. And so a student can come and do 1 lap and go to class, or they can stay and do 30 minutes of running real fast. They can walk real slow, they can run real fast. It doesn't matter to me. I would never, ever, ever even consider rejecting somebody who wanted to come exercise outdoors with us. There's no coaching, there's no choreography. It's simply moving forward for as long as you'd like to remain with us, and then you go to school. That's it,
got you,
and it
It's,
works. It works. With some of our programs have 400 kids out there every morning, plus 100 parents. It's awesome.
yeah, got you. So have you ever had since you're going for 15 years, have you ever had anybody who graduated from that program or went through that program and ran a marathon found you at the finish line?
Uh, Actually, no, but I have been at events around the country and had kids, parents come up and say, "This is my kids. They're morning milers. They have the little cute little necklace reward system." And yeah, I've had plenty of families come up, and it's interesting. I with Fitzness, I'm the face of Fitzness, right? If you know the Fitzness brand or any of the things I'm involved with, you understand who I am and you recognize me. With Morning Mile, I don't really have my face on any of that. The stars are the kids are the star of the show. I've got my logo there. I'm just kind of this behind the scenes person. So when a family reaches out and says, "We know you, we love your program. It's made a real difference in our kids' lives." It's just so meaningful. It's really exciting stuff.
Definitely. That's interesting. I need to look at that. Morningmiles.com. Is that
Morning
what you said?
Morning Miles, singular, not plural. So
Okay.
morningmile.com.
Got you. Okay, guys, make sure you check it out. Let's talk about you talked about write books when you travel
Yeah.
still. So I want to switch back to that a little bit before we run out of time. what you? How many books have you written post that first book that you
Okay, so
had?
I have four books. There is actually the Everything Flatbelly Cookbook published by Adams Media, I think also back in 2010, maybe sooner, 2008, something like that. But that's cookbook. That's been out for a very long time. And then My Noisy Cancer Comeback was published, I think, 2020. And that
2020.
one's the memoir that you read that comes in hardback, paperback, audiobook. And then I have Your Healthy Cancer Comeback, which is the guidebook. Oh, so here it is. Your Healthy Cancer Comeback. This one is a guidebook to help cancer patients and survivors go from sick to strong. So it uses all of my fitness expertise, high quality nutrition, complementary care. So if somebody you love is diagnosed with cancer immediately, no matter what type of cancer it is, they need this book. This will help them manage their fitness and nutrition and sleep and so forth during treatment. And then the next book is the Healthy Cancer Comeback Journal, which I don't have here. But that one is a great place for people to document all their experiences and their feelings and their faith, and then the fun stuff. And then it gives a solid section of documenting their path from sick to strong. So exercise, nutrition, hydration, sleep, happy feelings, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm working on a fitness book for the general population right now. So I'd say, well, that one's about 87% done. And I took a break from plane travel for a few weeks. So the book kind of stalled, but I'll get back on it. I'll get back on it. Writing a book is a colossal effort. It's a big deal.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. How hard it is? Is announcing
It's
it hard or writing a book? Probably the
it's uh, yeah, it's way hard. It's way hard. I mean, it's just a colossal undertaking. And yeah, it's very meaningful. It's going to be in print forever, right? So you want to get it
yeah,
right. And but I love the idea that I'm able to create a product that helps people. And if I get abducted by aliens tomorrow or hit by a bus, I've left these tools to help people when I'm gone. So I like that very much.
definitely. And that's why I produce a lot of videos and a lot of dancing. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
people go, oh, I remember that guy. So,
Hmm.
so definitely. So that's interesting. So you went through, journey of life in different ways and different things you're doing. What takes people to get motivated to be, continuously be motivated? It's easy enough to motivation is sometimes people don't like that word, motivation.
Yeah,
People like you and I, we also have to be motivated to do things, correct?
yeah.
We have to have a crank that thing. So what does it take people, like if somebody say, hey, I've never been motivated, what will it take them to get motivated? So that they can do things, achieve their goals, and like for your cases, announcing, traveling, writing books,
Yeah.
fighting the cancer. So let's talk about that a little.
Yeah, I mean, there's small wants and achievable goals that require nothing. I want coffee, you go make it, no big deal. But when someone wants something that's significant, I've in order to not give up, you have to want it so bad that you can't even fathom life without it, right? There are things that I need, you know, putting out these books. I needed to do that. It was just guttural, right? Being with athletes and celebrating them, that's guttural for me. I need you all. It's hard to describe, but I need it. Right? I need to connect with people during the keynotes. So those are things I need, and so I'm willing to do anything it takes to get to those moments because I need them. The other thing I think as a fitness expert, and I see so many people say, well, I want to lose weight or I want to do this. Everybody's got big plans, right? But nobody ever makes real progress in fitness until they get absolutely disgusted with the status quo, right? I can no longer live in this body the way it is. I am sick of it and I have to make change. That right there is a secret to success. And so for all the people who are constantly telling me, no, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to lose weight. And then I see their social media posts with their Jack Daniels and their nachos. Okay, you're not ready. You're not ready. So fine. But eventually when someone says, I just, ugh, I can't do it anymore. I can't feel like this. I can't look in the mirror and see it anymore. I have to make change. Those are the people that go all the way. And so, um, yeah, yeah, it's a repulsion from one thing or a desperation for another. I'm thankfully motivated by the desperation for wonderful things, but either would work.
Definitely. Yeah, for me, it's to start running. Running was not my thing. I started really late in my life. Now it consumed my life.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing my day job, I'm doing something for running. So definitely that consumes my life. But that for my motivation as and was, and I didn't want it to die before my kids get out of high school or college.
Yeah.
I want to see them grow. So that's because I come from family background. Who knows what would have happened to me, but I come from family background of all these things can happen in them, heart disease,
Of course.
diabetes, and so on. So I was trying to lead long longevity in my life, or have a little longer life. So definitely I've been able to achieve, like you said, what it will take. And one day I just have to stop and said, okay, it's time, it's enough, let's just do it. And
So So I just heard this week genius quote by our new Secretary of Defense. He said, "Stronger men are harder to kill." Works for women too. Stronger women are harder to kill. I'd like to be very difficult to kill, whether it's by disease or mean people, whatever it is. I want to be hard to kill.
what's the definition of strong? So this is strong means, some people are strong mentally, physically, there's many strong,
Yeah.
some are strong. And so are we talking overall strong or just
Yes.
physical strong?
Both. Yeah. Yeah. Physically and mentally. If you're mentally weak, God help you.
Yeah.
Life is hard, right? Life
Yeah.
is hard. And
Life is, yeah,
nobody gets out unscathed. So weaponize your failures. We all have failures. And instead of taking those failures and thinking, life is out to get me, the world is out to get me, you say, okay, I know what it's like to feel pain and I survived it. I can survive it again. I can survive it again. And then you steel yourself up and you make yourself more powerful. So the next obstacle you face either becomes way easier, or if it's a really big obstacle, you're ready for the challenge. And so, yeah, stronger people are harder to kill.
one of the things I tell people is like, I used to run 320 marathon. I barely, like, probably 4:30. I haven't raced a marathon lately, but I just paced them. So I tell people I got three things quickly. I got fat, I got slow, and I got old.
Oh
Two things
boy.
two things I can control. One thing is I cannot control. So what I said, trying to control. See if I can go back to be faster and lose weights, and
I know you can.
yeah,
No doubt you can. And then what a blessing aging is, right? Getting
yeah.
older.
It's
Nobody
a
wants the opposite.
And yeah, aging is it has its own perk,
Yeah.
good or
Yeah.
bad, but definitely I'll not trade it for things that I have learned so far in life. So to get motivated, do you have to be inspired? What do you think?
Well, I think more importantly than either of those things is discipline, right?
Mm,
Because we might be motivated for the moment. I really want to lose weight. And then tomorrow you're motivated by the donuts that your boss brings to the office, right? Or you're disciplined. This is what I'm going to achieve, and these are the steps to get there. And come hell or high water, I'm going to complete those steps. And so I did a podcast recently on motivation versus discipline, and there's absolutely no way in my mind I can prioritize motivation over discipline. We've got choices, we've got actions. Those are the things that make a difference. Whether you're feeling enthusiastic about the finish line at the moment is really irrelevant. As long as you keep moving towards it, you'll get there.
definitely. One of my book that I listen a lot. I had a summarized version of this book, the Atomic Habit. It's all about discipline. If you
Okay.
guys have not listened, I listened that over. I read this once and then listened to the tape. I do a lot of listening these days, and then this year I said, okay, let me just get a shorter version and just listen that over. Month of January, that's all I did. Every time
Wow.
it's finished, I listened probably 6, 7, 8 times. I'm still not good at disciplining. I'm one of those persons who's just not that disciplined in things, but
I think your marathon history tells a different story, that you're very disciplined, but you're also human and you have areas where you're weaker, right? And
Exactly.
you could just transfer that discipline to the new focus and get it done.
Yeah, that's one thing for sure. I see, I would be eating no breakfast and I see donut, I will just eat them. I'm one of those, I always eat three or four. So discipline is, my like I said, I have my own weaknesses that I need to
Right, we all
work on.
do.
Yeah. So do you do any meditation, anything like that for calm your mind, make your mind strong, anything you do?
I don't. I do things to make my mind strong. I do like word puzzles, crosswords. I definitely had chemo brain, so I lost. Woof. I became a semi-stupid person. I lost about 15 credit cards and a driver's license during chemo. So I became very forgetful. Short-term memory was bad. So every day I do these discipline on my phone. I do these wordscapes and I don't know, mental games. I do not meditate. My brain is too active. And I know someone would also argue, well, you're active, your brain is so active, you got to change it up and slow it down. So I don't like silence.
Mm,
I don't. So what I actually do is if I wake up, let's say I need to use the loo at 3 a.m. and the second I get up, my brain starts doing something. It'll start thinking about your podcast or thinking about my book or a race or whatever. And I can't turn it down. So I'll put an earbud in with a podcast with someone who has a deep, slow voice and they'll lull me back to sleep. So I need somebody else thinking and making, talking to distract me from my own thoughts. So I don't meditate. I probably would be good for me, but it just, I don't know, maybe I have ADD or something like that.
I do different type of meditation. I've learned to do like some active meditation as
Okay.
well. Meditate while as you go. Meditate in things. It's not like deep. I cannot do like sit down and try. Sometimes I fall asleep and through the meditation if I'm in the bed, but mostly I cannot do it. But when I'm in trail, when I'm in trail running 6, 7, 8 hours of running, I'm just kind of this meditative state. I can hear
Impressive.
things and those things. And when I'm running, I try to get in those as well. Active meditation, kind of Buddhism talks about that a little bit. They mastered those. For me, it's just a little, my religion. For me, is a little different. We had to
Okay.
go into deep meditation, like what we talked about. That's something I cannot do. So my mind is like you, is like rolling all the time.
It never
So
stops. It's like 15
like
minutes
okay,
all day, all day. So,
so I try to
um,
keep, yeah, I try to keep myself like these days. I don't stay in the bed till 7 o'clock because at 7 o'clock I gotta make a. I still have a kid at home, make breakfast and
oh,
stuff. It's like till 7 o'clock. Like I'm not getting up because once I get up, I'm just doing things. So thanks for joining, and I just wanted you to give a words of advice to all the listeners out there.
yeah, I mean, it depends what the audience I'm talking to, and yours, I'm guessing, is pretty darn active, right? I don't need to convince them to do exercise generically, but if you are a runner, the reason most runners suffer greatly is because they're not strength training or stretching or doing balance training. So build those in. If you need guidance, I have the strength training for runners video on the cover of fitzness.com. That's FITZNESS.com. But strength training will change your life in so many ways. It'll help you feel better, perform better, look better, take away those common runner pains like IT band syndrome and piriformis syndrome, and all the other aches and pains you got going on are usually due to tightness and weakness. And for someone who works so hard, putting in so many miles for races, you shouldn't suffer the whole time. And so prioritize those other areas of fitness. Nutrition is obviously a huge factor, and get some rest. And yeah, be proud. I know most runners are very proud of our accomplishments, showing the medals and the post run selfies. But yeah, what an awesome group of people. I tell you, in my fitness career, I have to do a lot of arm twisting, trying to convince people that exercise is a good idea, which is one of the great blessings of being a race announcer, because I'll show up at an event and some race director says, Fitz, here's 10,000 people who decided exercise would be a great thing to do today? Can you make sure they know what to do, where to go, and have a great time? And so I'm so appreciative of all of your listeners that are taking care of their health. It's not only important to you, it's important to your family, your friends, your employers, your employees, the country. We simply can't afford a country full of sick people who don't take care of themselves. So, every move you make to increase your own health, it benefits all of us. So thank you. That's my message to them. Keep going.
What a great message. Thanks for joining. Thanks for giving your time to this podcast, this recording, and we'll keep in touch. And next race, we'll dance at the start, dance at the finish.
Yeah,
So
keep spreading sunshine. You are such a delight, such a gift to all of us. Thank you for having me on your show again.
thank you.